Hey, Patty, can you hear me? It's John.
Yes, I can, John.
Okay, great. I'll turn on the video soon. I wasn't sure. Frankly, I guess it's been a little while for me because I was down at the town center and wasn't sure if it was, only Zoom. But that's okay. I am back home.
Yeah, you've
There's
been
this,
been traveling quite a bit.
yes.
Good travel. How'd you like Croatia?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great. Have you been to Croatia?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So last time I was there, it was Yugoslavia, uh, and it was nice for sure. I mean, actually, it's changed less than everybody says, I think. But I thought it was just a less crowded Italy. It was like a lot more like Italy than it was it's in between Italy and Greece. So, and I feel like it's kind
yeah,
of in between culturally, but it's
yeah,
more, it's Roman Catholic as opposed to you go like 3 miles in one direction and it's a Muslim country. So, um, but it's got good wine and food and it's interesting to go to Dubrovnik again. Hasn't changed in 1,000 years, so wouldn't expect it to change in 30 or 40 years. But
well, when
anyway,
we went, it was years ago, but it was at the height of Game of Thrones.
right.
So we were pretty thrilled to see Dubrovnik.
Yeah. There's still all the Game of Thrones tours and everywhere we were kind of
Yeah,
avoiding it. I wanted to know kind of more about the real history and not the fictional, not even
yeah,
history.
yeah, no, I didn't go on any tours, but we would kind of turn a corner and we'd say, "Oh my God, that's where such and such was filmed
Right,
or something."
right, right, right,
So
right.
anyway, whatever. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Croatia. That was beautiful, and I liked um, getting out to some of the highlands too.
Yes, for
It was
sure.
beautiful out there.
No, it's
Mhm.
beautiful and really clear water. The only issue for us, and it's a little bit because we were there early, is it's the water is cold, so you just need to take a minute to adjust, and there's no fish, so it's not really good for snorkeling. Um, and so we didn't go scuba diving because the water was so cold, and there's not good fish. Um, but still, we were on a boat, and so it's there's nothing to complain about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. And Karen is back into town.
Back in
There you go.
town, catching up. So, we'll get to it, but Patty, I saw Charlie Krenz, who's one of the POG members, and the trail from Saddleback um didn't get approved. He sent me sort of the votes and everything. It's the lower trail. Um, I mean, I'm sure well, who knows if we'll get a write-up or not.
Okay, no, I apologize.
No, that's okay. I was actually pleased to see that because there's no parking there, so that could present a problem.
Is that the one that didn't get approved, but they wanted to kind of keep it on the map and they were going to look at usage data?
That is the upper trail. You know what? While we're waiting for people to go on, I'll pull up the map.
Bless you. Okay, so Cindy is not going to join us. She is in Belize. I feel like I'm the only one that's not, bless you, going someplace exotic.
Belize is fun. It's it was the British Honduras, and so they speak English there. So it's actually one, and it's got it's the Caribbean, and so they got great Snorkeling and scuba diving. I would put it on your list if you're going to go anywhere in the Caribbean anyway.
Actually, I was in Belize, but we were there during a hurricane. So I can't honestly say, but
Oops.
I think I need to go back.
That's where the blue hole is. We had a major incident out there, but I won't get into that here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear from Dave. I didn't hear
That's too bad.
from Lindsay.
I see Dave a lot because softball season has started. It's too bad if he's not here.
I guess.
And I have a topic. I want to talk about too. I have an idea again. My bocce ball area didn't quite work out yet. I still have hopes for it, but I have another idea kind of like that I want to talk about tonight.
Okay.
And you know what? You know what, Patty?
What?
It's in your area.
Oh.
It's a dog park. I have an idea for the dog park.
That's
Okay.
Karen's. That's Karen's area now.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. All right.
Yeah. I passed the baton.
Okay.
Okay,
Just
well,
a thought.
so I do apologize. I had a little bit of a medical procedure today, so
Oof.
pretty loopy. So if I'm not making sense, number one, I don't know how you tell the difference, but
Yeah.
two. Wow, okay, so I
We
guess
don't have a quorum, right?
Well,
But
we don't need a quorum.
exactly, we're not under the Brown Act, so we can just
No.
talk about whatever we want to talk about. Yeah.
Talk about what I want to talk about. Okay, well, maybe it'll be a quick meeting then. Okay, I'm going to call to order at 7:38. Missing a few people, but we'll see what we can get through. Any oral communications from anybody about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, moving along. Approval of minutes from May 21st. I think I sent them out just after the last meeting. Does anybody have any comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Well, I motion to approve. You made there were some changes from Cindy and I, and those were done, so it looks great.
The second. John, that would be you.
But-
You're on mute.
John,
Sorry,
John
sorry. Yeah.
wasn't,
I wasn't there, so I don't get to vote, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, well then,
So it's unanimous, the two of you.
okay, well, passed. Okay. I didn't have any new business unless, John, you want your
No.
new idea?
No, we do it under the dog park. It's kind of on the
Okay.
agenda under old business.
Okay. All right, so moving right along. Zoster Tots Town Picnic
Oh.
update. Oops, I forgot to put the date in here. Saturday, September 21st. So, on the town picnic side, I booked the rentals, I booked the petting zoo, I booked the inflatables, I booked the something else. So I'm working on that part of it. I booked the face painter. What I have not yet booked, and I wanted your thoughts about, was I've not booked a band. Last year we did have a band. They kind of played from like 1 to 2:30, which I actually thought was a little late. And Karen got us a great deal. So I I wondered if people who were either there or had heard something, had any opinion about whether we need a band.
You know, I, John Badger was just hanging the sign for the concerts, and I'm wondering if there's a concert. I think there's one in September. Let me see if I can figure out when that is. I'm not sure that really makes a difference, but if there is a music event that's that Thursday before, it might make a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they shut them down pretty much before school starts, but yeah, if you could look that up.
Hey, Patty,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like it's more of a feel. Like, how do you think the feel of the day would be without a band? You think it would really make a difference? I mean, there's some level of band, kind of gets people. I don't know. There's music blaring at a minimum. There's not really people dancing or anything like that. It's more of a kids event in many ways. But what's your sense of how that day would be if you didn't have that band out there?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I've had it both ways. Last
Yeah.
year was the first time I had a band. I think it's actually kind of a cool feature.
Mhm.
People enjoy the music. Kids were out there kind of dancing. Again, I do think last year I started them way too late. I would start
Yeah.
them around like 11:30 and have them play through lunch. That's when most of
Yeah.
the people are there. But I kind of like having the music there.
That's my sense too. I just feel like it sets a tone, for the event. The other big element of the tone is just the jumpies, right? You have hundreds of kids running around, making noise and, having fun and jumping into things. But then there's the band, and if you didn't, it would just be the essence of it would just be the kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of like it there. I think it's probably worth the money, and the planning. And yeah, and you're right. It needs to be in the heart of the event, right? So because the event goes from what 11 to 2 or 3
Yeah.
that way. So you really you want to start at 11:30.
Yeah. It's around 11:30.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to reach out to John and get some recommendations about which bands he might want us to pursue based on any that either got a good reaction at Palooza or ones that he's booked in the past.
Well, do we want to consider the budget as well?
We're okay on a budget.
Okay,
I mean, we're still gonna be under budget.
okay.
Now I am sensitive to the budget because I don't want to spend money just for the sake of spending money. But if Karen could go out and get us another great deal, maybe it's worth at least looking into it. So I would recommend that we look into it and that I bring back some options along with the updated budget to review next meeting and we make a decision. Carolyn, did you have a comment?
Yes, I think it's a great idea. And I apologize. I go back to the picnic and we used to have a team committee. Unfortunately, I don't have connections with the schools, but what we used to do is, we had the teenagers and they all had these bands. And this was an opportunity for them to perform in front of a live audience. And these were mainly people here from Portola Valley. So I probably can reach out to Gary Haining because he's on the board of the school PV district, school district. I don't know if he has a connection with local bands or local students, because it's a great opportunity for them to really perform live. I mean, my son used to be in it. Ray Rock's son used to perform, I think. Many people that I knew through baseball, basketball, and whatever, but that's many years ago, unfortunately. So yeah,
That's a great idea.
I think it would be great, because these teenagers, they need performance.
Yeah.
And this is a way they can communicate. But perhaps Patrick from, what is Patrick, the head of Woodside Priory, can still help us. You never know, because they have a music. I know his email, so I can reach out to him and then connect
No,
you
I have
on it.
I have Patrick's email.
Oh
too.
yeah, but really, these kids have to get off the stage fright, and this is a perfect opportunity. So
Yeah.
I encourage you to do it. It's great.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks,
I love
Karen.
that idea, by the way. I love the idea of a high school where, kids that have a band going. Because, we don't need a professional band for this. We do, and I agree that it's just a great opportunity for them. I wonder if we should just send something out. I don't know if it's in the PV forum or somewhere defined, because I think there's always been high school, just, handful of kids in bands. It would be, the issue is just, figuring out who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
well, I'll look into it.
I agree. I think that would be great. And I think John Badger may have leads on that from the PV
Oh, that's
Palooza.
true.
And
Yeah.
then I'm happy to figure out someone from Woodside High, because I know some neighbors' kids were in a band. They're in college now, so, but I don't know if they're around or not. So I can check into that.
Okay, all
Um,
right.
and I have two other things about the picnic. One is the music. The last music event is going to be September 5th. So it's not the same week. And then Patty, I have leftover round red and white checked tablecloths. I have 8 of those. And I have some red ones from trivia night if you think you want to use those.
Okay, all right. I'll let you know.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
So John,
Yeah.
what needs to get
Well,
started on ZOTS?
well, first of all, I haven't done anything yet, but there's two big things, or two things. Last time I think the bicycle safety, that one did a lot on the shutting it down. Do you think that? I mean, I can reach out to Ed Holland. He's next door to me.
No, Ed actually proactively reached out to me
Okay.
a month ago.
Right.
And
Awesome.
he said they're signed up for it. So
Awesome.
I'm letting
Okay,
them
good.
run with it.
Well, that's the key. It feels like that's the big thing. Other than that, I mean, I feel we've got it. So we can talk through what happened last time. First of all, just my one little, thing on my side is that I'm going to do hats again, right? I think I haven't thought about this at all, so this is off the top of my head, but I think we should. Hats were just so easy; you didn't have to worry about sizes. You just had kids, and I think I would do something very similar last year, including getting white hats again, because I think the white hats were much better than any other color we had, because people seem to wear them for tennis and pickleball. I just see them around more, right? So I think I just do that. I think we have to not make them identical, so I'll just do a slightly different color, but it would probably say Zots to Tots 2024 or something. But it's really that's about it, right? So first of all, on that point, do you guys have any thoughts on that in terms of the hats or shirts or whatever you think would be best?
Hats, definitely.
Mhm.
I'm so done with shirts, as I'm sure you are.
For sure. Yes.
I do have a logo that I've developed for the town's 60th anniversary.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if you might want to kind of have a hat that does the 60-year anniversary plus
Mhm.
Tots to Tots. I'd have to
Yep.
think about how to
Well,
marry those two
if you send me,
together.
if you send me any logo you have, I'll try to figure out if we can fit it in. I've done it before but it's got to be something really simple. Or if there is a phrase, and maybe it's just 60th anniversary. What if there are words that you kind of think would be good, associated with this? I can try to, I'll figure out how to put them in there. Is there something beyond? So 60th anniversary, is it Portola Valley? I mean, if you could send me, or if you have it here, but what you think the words are, maybe it's as simple as that, because logos get a little bit harder because there's only so much space on hats. But anyway, whatever you have would be great.
But I actually really like the logo, but
Okay.
maybe we just, well, I'll send it to you. Maybe we just only make it the 60th year anniversary and we don't try and crowd it with Zots.
Oh, interesting. I could say Portola Valley 60th year anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it
That'd
simple
be
like
great.
that.
I like that.
Yep.
I also, then that's a way to, sort of prolong the celebration of the 60-year, anniversary and get the word out, right? So I like it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would care if it doesn't say Zots the Tots on it, frankly.
No. I don't mean to burst your bubble, John. I think people have enough things with Zots on them. Yeah, I'm thinking
No.
maybe we leverage the 60-year thing. So I'll send you the logo. You can tell me
Yep.
what you think.
I'll try to fit it on, but I'll say that it also makes the expenses the cost per hat go up a lot when you add stuff, because it usually doesn't fit in the front. So just put on the side. Anything you do adds a fair amount of cost, right, per hat.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, I'll take a look at it.
We'll just explore it.
Yeah.
And do we
And-
need to make a decision about entry fees, anything like that?
Do you think it should change? As last year we had something, do you think it has to be different?
No,
I can't even remember what it is. So
but we raised it last year, right?
we did, yeah.
So if we felt like that's enough, then, I mean, we still at 400 people. So
Right. I
don't-
think it's probably okay. I'll look at it again. The other things that I can think of are mostly the finish line again. Right. So do we get an ice cream truck, or we just let that go this
I
time?
am not going there. I
Yeah.
refuse. No, I'm not going there. I've tried it for 2 years and it's been the biggest headache
Right.
and no goddamn ice cream.
Nobody's
Sorry.
expecting it. Nobody is
Well, they're not
running this
getting it,
race because of the ice
so-
cream.
They're not getting it.
Okay. And then I think we'll just need to talk as we get closer about staffing
know.
the finish line more. That's all.
Yeah.
We just need more people
Yeah.
there.
That's the biggest headache.
Hey,
Frankly,
John,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask if you're planning to do medals again.
Yes, for sure. Why not?
I'm just
They're-
wondering
they're cheap.
if we should do the 60th anniversary on those. I'm just throwing it out
Sure.
there as an idea. So,
No, it's a good idea. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. It'll probably be, it's just a matter of what, because the front, I think, still will probably be the schoolhouse. Because I'm going to keep using, I think I have some left over. I'm sure I do. And so I'll just leave the schoolhouse, and then it's just a matter of what it says. And instead of saying sort of like the hats, instead of saying Zots the Tots, it'll say 60th anniversary, It probably needs to say 2024, but yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay.
So yeah,
All
so we'll still, I think we just still do the trophies, the medals, the staff, by the way, we need less at the front and more at the back now. The front is a lot easier when you have hats. It really takes out a massive amount of work. So we'll just take all the extra people and put them in the finish line.
Yeah. Okay. All right, anything else there?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's go to game night, update. I know Sydney's not here, but she did send around her, what she was able to find out about the DIY casino. Which seemed pretty doable from a expense standpoint. Obviously, the biggest thing would be that we would have to get our own dealers. So I think we talked about maybe having one after the pick. So I think we've got time to think about it. Maybe when we have the bigger group. What do you think?
I just want to make sure we want to go for it. I feel that that's kind of going up rather than down from a effort standpoint. I actually think we can get dealers. I could probably recruit dealers. So we can do it. I do think it's going to be, significant effort. If you think about even, all the things we've talked about, trivia night, even, it took 2 people, to do the whole thing. I worry that this is more complicated. It'll be fun. So I'm not saying no, or I don't recommend it. We just got to be willing and ready to, kind of up the effort on an event
Yeah, I think we're just trying to mix it up a little bit, though.
for sure.
Yeah, I think people would still show up for trivia nights. But maybe if we gave them a little bit something different, I'd
Yeah.
just mix it up.
I'm wondering if we should do some research and see how many volunteers we could find, because we will need a lot more volunteers to be staffing the tables and probably having, well, it depends on how long it goes, but someone might not want to be standing for, it depends on how long the shift would be and how much stuff we need. So maybe that's something we need to figure out as how much manpower we need, and then figure out if we can do that, to John's point.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
So the manpower part, I will say, I said there's 2 people, but I guess there were more like another 5 or 6 people involved in the night, in the event. So, and we might be able to get that, as long as there's no more planning needed, because I guess it's all brought to us, right? Is that right? Where there's this service where they kind of come and we need volunteers, but we don't need anything else. No other planning.
We would buy all of the stuff ourselves. So and figure out a way to cover the tables and have our own games and all that. But, if you're going to have food and drink and you're going to have registration, really it's the 3 scorers that would be what we wouldn't need, but then we'd probably have 7 or 8 tables. So you would need more volunteers, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's my sense. This is a bigger event. And it's just organizationally managing it, making sure it's not just total chaos. Feels like it's bigger. That's all. That might be good. Okay.
Well, let's just let's keep it on the agenda and maybe talk about it next month.
By the way, just so we don't forget, because something I just happened to be, I don't even remember why or where I was, and somebody said, "Oh, you should look at this." And we had talked about bingo, and I always thought bingo would be a little boring. I'm not sure who just joined us there, but there's another thing that I am trying to pull it up again. I think, yeah, it's called, you guys should just Google it. It's called Thingo Bingo. So this is taking it down multiple notches because I think bingo is just like would be so easy. But there's this game that instead of numbers, you do songs. Okay, so you have everybody has the cards like bingo, but you have song names in the bingo card, and then you play the song, the first 15 seconds of it, and everybody has to figure out whether it's on their card. Right. So I
Didn't
just thought that
you
was
Didn't you look into this, Karen?
Well,
Oh.
we didn't look, no, that was disco bingo. I didn't get a whole
Okay.
lot of, but this is like a combination of name that tune and bingo, and that could be really
Right.
fun. I
Yeah.
think, because I think anytime you have music, it really just creates a joyful environment. That's my personal opinion. So, that could be a fun thing to do. I like that idea.
Yeah, look it up, and
Okay.
yeah, I agree. Because I just think bingo, you'd sit there and it'd be like 36 and everybody look. But yeah, if you play the beginning of a song, everybody's like, wait, I know that song. Oh, wait, we have that song. It does feel like it would work,
What- What's it called, John? Again?
It's called Singo, Singo,
Oh,
music bingo.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, let's check into this.
Yeah.
The goal is
about
to
it.
get everybody out and build community. And if we can keep it simple, but we get all the folks and they have fun, then we've accomplished our goal.
you know what?
So-
I think we try new things. And if it works, great. If not, we either
Yep.
try something else
Yep.
or we go back to trivia. I don't know.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. We're gonna look into single bingo. All right. Hawthorns.
Well, Patty attended,
Obviously, I screwed it up. So
no,
you should probably take it from here.
no, okay, we're just gonna give a quick recap. The POG final meeting happened on, last week. Was that only last week?
Yes.
Okay,
It was only
last Thursday night. And the group voted on a number of options, and there was a new option thrown into the mix for parking. And I'm going to share my screen. Let me make sure I've got the right. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. And okay, now this is, let me just do this. I don't know how I get rid of this side area so you can see it. Can you
There
see
should
this?
be an arrow at the top. Just click it over.
There isn't anything like that.
We can see it fine, so
Okay,
it's not an
okay.
issue for me.
So essentially, there's a new option that is, the parking would come in. This is Alpine Road here. And this is Portola Road where my cursor is. There was a new parking option that would come in at Alpine and Portola, essentially where there's a four-way stop. So it takes away the concern with safety and cyclists, flying down Alpine Road and the traffic and such. And let me see if I can find it. Excuse me, these sizes of the slides are all different. But okay, well, actually, these are the two that got voted on. I'll start with this one. This one was essentially unanimous, and it was the new, gosh, sorry. This is Alpine, and this is Portola. And the entry would be right there. So you just go across the street. You'd have stop signs everywhere. This design is 50 spots. My understanding is the POG said they want a maximum of 50. And And Patty, do you remember the number, like 36, maybe
35.
36 to 35 to 50
Upper limit
spots?
was 50, but they recommended closer to 35.
Yeah. And the other option essentially had been discussed before, but it comes in the main entrance that's already there, but they increased the size of the parking, and they were able to do this because prior to the other meetings, there's this, if you see my cursor, there's a conservation easement right here. They got approval from Post that they could put a parking lot in that area there. So that option became available. So this option here was unanimous. They're recommending two options to the next MidPen group, which is planning and natural resources, I believe. And then it will go to a study session with our town council. So that was essentially what happened there. And just to show you the design they showed for option 10 is, we have the road over here and there's the slope. And then they would put in a berm, excuse me, that's option 9, sorry. They would put in a berm here to make the parking less visible from the road. So that's also, what folks voted on, is having that berm there to hide the lot as best as possible. And on the trails, does someone have a question? Oh, okay.
That might have been me going hum. So this is the entrance to this is right at the intersection with Portola Road and Alpine Road.
Yep,
You're literally talking about going straight into a parking area.
yep,
Okay.
yes. It'd be where the sign is hung for the concerts, which is out there right now.
Well, it's also, by the way, illegally hung, just so you know. It is. It is not town policy. In fact, they have said they
Okay.
can't do that many times. But okay, go ahead.
All right, so here you have the trail design, and this whole purple trail was, unanimously approved. And this is about, I think we talked about, it's maybe 1 to 1.5 mile loop. There's some really beautiful views up at the top, up in here. And then this white loop, spur, is a contentious situation with some residents at PV Ranch. But what the group voted for was this, for sure, this piece that I've got my cursor on. I think it's number 16. And what they want is number 17. They want to see how the usage is at the site. And if indeed the volume is not that high, is to reconsider adding this in. That was their recommendation. The other thing that they did not approve, and you can see it down here, there was going to be an entrance right from Saddleback, and this is I think this is Groveland. Yeah, this is Groveland. And they were going to put an entrance here that you could get to the trail. That did not get approved. I think there was a lot of concerns that you'd have a lot of street parking in the local neighborhood and along Alpine because there was no lot there. So this was this I don't think is going forward recommended. Are there any
Well,
questions?
let me just start. I mean, you live here too, Karen. Do you really think we want to have something in that intersection? I've actually seen 3 accidents at that intersection. Do we really want to open it up where you now have this other thing that you go straight through and you've got people pulling in there to go park? Or, at
So
that.
we, as an ad hoc committee, we did raise concerns about safety.
We
sorry.
No, go ahead, Patty. I mean, the ad hoc group kept pressing for them to reconsider Los Trancos. And they would not do it. They said the sight lines weren't good, even though there's a tremendous amount of volume, and there's going to be more volume with all the development going on here and in town, right? Because this is one of the busiest pieces of town traffic. But that option with a four-way stop relative to having the cyclists flying down, they fly down this road this way, and the traffic we felt was actually safer to have a four-way stop. But we said
Well-
you're going through the safe routes for school. You are also, you have cyclists that don't stop. So bear in mind that you may have a four-way stop, but cyclists
Okay.
aren't stopping there.
I'm not
So-
concerned about the cyclists. I mean, if they're not going to stop, that's on them. The children go there. They flood, you know this, you're right here. They flood down Alpine Road, and then they go towards either the deli, now whatever, the Mexican place, or a crossover. You have a person sitting there, standing there at school hours, making sure that no children get hit. And now we're going to make it a bigger intersection.
So that concern was raised by the ad hoc committee, as well as Sarah Ornikov raised it in the meeting.
Yep.
They said that they had looked at the traffic patterns, and what they had determined was that the hours when there is peak traffic related to the school, that is first thing in the morning and mid-afternoon, are not going to be the peak hours when people are trying to get in to Hawthorne's and out of. So
Why?
the school would be,
Why would they not
weekday,
be at 3 o'clock in the
weekday,
afternoon and 5
Hawthorne's would
o'clock?
be weekends. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's what they said they looked at.
Understood.
Well, and there's currently, John, there's a crossing guard there at 3 in the afternoon. Now,
Yep.
there's no guarantee that crossing guard, we also raised the question of how can we guarantee there will be a staffed crossing guard there? Right? Because that with our budget situation, and who knows we're not sure if the school is funding it or it's part of the sheriff's responsibility, but that was one of the issues that we did raise. And I apologize. This is I'm over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor to the right. This is the trail that did not get approved. So there is a little spur here that was approved. It's this number 15, which didn't seem to show up on it didn't show up when I made it smaller,
No,
but it's
so-
this little thing from Saddleback, which, as you can see, they'd have to park on this road or on Alpine or somewhere to get
Is
into
that
it.
the one that's 15 feet from somebody's kitchen window?
Yes, that would be. That actually would be.
Yeah, so my recollection is that that was approved, but what they said was these maps that were drawn for this round are conceptual in nature, and that when it moves to the next level, they would recommend that that trail be considered, but that a more detailed drawing be done to make sure that it's not 15 feet from somebody's window. So,
Hang on. Okay. Here's number 15. And here's the vote, which is red with these are 6 is the worst that you can vote, that
Yeah, I
you
know, I
don't
get-
want it,
I
and 1 is
understand.
high. And
I
so
was there.
this is what happened here, is
Okay.
11 was not approved,
Okay,
or 15, sorry. It got poor voting numbers.
Okay.
So, and then up here, I think there's some people complaining that you could see into their window. And this is where they're saying, can you reposition this a little bit? But I wasn't there. Those are the results of the vote.
Can you just show me again the window part? Because I think we live here, so we know this well. I've gone up that a 100,000 times. Which window are people looking into?
I wasn't at the meeting, and Patty went, and there's a
Some-
petition that's been
Oh.
signed by about 180 ranch residents that it
Mhm.
is destroying their view shed and their privacy, and you can look into their windows. So I can't tell you which ones, but there's a number of people that have
Okay.
signed this petition.
All right, so I think it must be at that point your cursor's at right there,
It's
right?
up, it's,
So
yes, because this is the highest part of the site. And the views are phenomenal, but again, because it's up high, it means you can, but it's also
but
a good
everybody's
100 yards away.
yeah,
I
everybody's
mean,
window
this,
is to the right of this. There's nobody's window is within this area. So they're talking about, and I walk up that trail right
It-
there. I walk down my driveway and I go straight up, and I know this intimately, right, as to whose windows you're looking into. And frankly, I don't think there's much of an argument there, but anyway,
well, this
we
will,
got to get in the community.
that this will go to this Planning and Natural Resources Group at Mid-Penn.
Yep.
And from there, it's going to come to the town council for a study session. And there will be that will be a public meeting. And we're going to encourage everybody to speak up then, right?
Yep.
And then if there are design issues that need to be addressed by the ASCC or the Planning Commission, it would also, when they submit for their application, it would also go to them. But that's if and only if they are within all of the regulations, it wouldn't necessarily go to the ASCC and the Planning Commission. So the council meeting is really where we're going to have to ask people to speak up.
And just so I know, I mean, the complaint there is where the trails are. I'm personally not at all concerned about where trails are, so if somebody walks near you, I am very concerned about where they're paving roads and making intersections and putting parking. I think that is 1,000 times more impact than a walking trail. So is that what, first of all, on that front, that's what they're talking about? They're worried about a hiking trail coming too close to their house?
The ranch residents are, yes.
But there's already a
It-
hiking trail right near their house.
As I said, their concern is it takes away their view shed and it is less private, that there's a greater ability to view into their homes or on their decks from the angle. That's the concern. And because it's going to be a lot, they believe because it's a regional park, that it'll be a much higher volume of hikers.
Do you think so? Do you think it's really going to be used that much where you're going to have a lot of people out there every day? That's
So
not
I
my
can
sense
tell
at
you,
this
I
time.
wrote in as a personal resident about this issue and that I supported this loop, this white loop. I felt that
Yep.
these views were spectacular and should be open to everybody, but that I personally had concerns about parking on
Yep.
side streets and that this didn't need to be there. That was my personal opinion. The ad hoc committee also, we didn't really say strongly one way or the other, but we welcome the open trails. We wanted, and they are multi-use trail. Oh, the last thing, Patty, correct me if I'm wrong. The purple trail is multi-use. It's hiking, biking, horses. The white trail is hiking and horses only, no biking, because Sweet Springs does
Pedestrian
not allow
and dog.
biking. So because this is gonna hook in there, they want to make sure that you don't have, this trail not permitting certain uses and these trails do. They wanted to make sure there was consistency there.
Carolyn, did you have a comment?
Oh, here, let me pull that off so we can.
Yes, I do. Thank you. You know, as a member of PPDS, I wanted to join that meeting on the 13th, and of course, of all days, we didn't have internet in our area for 5 hours. So I appreciate that that Patty that you joined. Was our representative Pat Bean in there? Hello?
What was the question?
She wants to know
Hello?
if Pat Bainan was there.
No,
So,
Pat was not there, no.
Ed Holland,
So,
Ed Holland he was on the ad hoc, it was a small group of people, but Ed Holland was on that. And you can speak with him, but he felt that, the intersection with the stop was a safer alternative than the other alternatives they're presenting along Alpine. We all agree that we think Los Trancos should be researched further, but we're getting nowhere with MidPen on that.
exactly. And then the traffic consultants, and that's what we're have been fighting, is the traffic consultants have all these solutions on our roads, which and Pat Bean was correct in this. She said, you know, they are very concerned for everything that is on their land, and then they have no consideration of the impact that the traffic they're going to cause at the entrance or anywhere to have access to these trails on our town. And so they were proposing speed bumps, they were proposing a middle section across from Roberts to allow people in both directions to make a left turn into the parking lot. And so perhaps that was the reason why they wanted to shift it to the intersection of Alpine and Portola Road, but we have so many issues there. So I agree with John, it's not the ideal situation. And yes, it should be brought up, and I thank you for your comments. I will bring it up to the PPTS. Unfortunately, they don't want to meet in July, so our next meeting is in August. And hopefully we will catch up. So anything you have, Karen, can you please forward it to us? I will send you an email tomorrow, and perhaps you can forward that already to us.
Well, Caroline,
So
what I'm showing you is from the agenda packet that I had already sent out over the forum. I can send that to you again. I was traveling, so I was unable to attend the meeting, and Patty came, and she can, share a recap of that. But
that would be great, because I intended to attend that meeting, and we didn't have internet for 5 hours on the 13th, so we were not able to attend.
Yeah, I think we've got, I'm happy to send you whatever I get. I think we've got time. There has not been any timetable that I'm aware of that's been set for the next meetings. So it could be months before the PNR gets back together again. So I don't think it's something that if it doesn't happen in the next month, you should worry that you're going to miss your window of opportunity.
No, I
I-
understand that, but at the same time, we're working on safe routes to school. We want to make sure that is not taken off the table. And so I'm trying to work with the Trails Committee, BPTS, and projects like MidPen to make this work.
Yeah, no, I agree.
the other thing that I failed to mention is that when they looked at these alternatives, this option 10 actually had one of the lesser impact to natural resources they put a chart together. So it was less expensive to do. It had a lower impact on the natural resources, and it was deemed to be the, by far and away, the safest entrance point.
Which
So,
I found that kind of hard to believe, because if you look at the pictures that Betsy took, I mean, there's a lot of trees, nice, you know, old oaks that need to come out in order to make that a driveway. So
yeah, yeah,
that was
but this
kind of,
is,
that was kind of bizarre to me.
right, I'm gonna just share the screen because this is what the POG was given, and you can see why. Can I make this bigger? Trying to make this. Oh, there we go. So this was also what they were given. And again, these were the two options that were at the top. So you can see the cost was lower. They claim the tree removal would be relative to these options. The paved area is actually smaller. Parking lot area is smaller. So I think when you look at this and you have to take their recommendations, it really appears to be one of the best alternatives out of what they were given. The only issue is the retaining wall is going to be high in a certain spot. Although the one, option 9, is much, much longer. It goes for a much greater length.
Well,
So
as I mentioned to
this
you,
this was also, I think you need to weigh that this is what the POG was given and this is what MidPen is saying. And I think we have to again voice our opinions and say, prove it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't believe it. I told you this, and I think they were gonna vote for number 10, even if, you know, if, so, whatever. Anyway, that's where we are.
and I would,
Dogs on
y-
leash, which is
yeah,
really what
one
Parks and Rec is concerned.
one last thing, Patty, to your comment, I think the town council meeting's scheduled for September. I could be wrong. I'll double check that while we're looking at some other things too.
Doesn't
Okay,
the
dog,
PNR have to meet before then?
I need to double check everything, but yes, I think they're meeting in like late July. It's some schedule like that is at least what's proposed.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Okay,
can I
anything else
just
on
throw
that?
something out there just in terms of I know this isn't going to really go anywhere, but on the parking for Hawthorne, I actually am not convinced we need more parking. I know everybody's gonna say, "Oh, of course we do." I personally, if I was in control of everything, I would just open it up and see what happens with the cars, and then you solve the parking after. I don't think personally, I don't know that we have to design, do it all up front. To say, oh, it was going to be we're going to need parking, so let's put it in. Why don't we just open up the park and see where people park, and then say, oh, okay, we have a problem with parking. Let's go solve that problem now. Right, and that's just my opinion. They did that with Alpine Inn.
Well, I would encourage you to hopefully whenever this council meeting happens, suggest that. Because this is our opportunity is when we get to the council where they'll have influence on this.
Yep.
So, although the last thing I want is no more parking situations like we have at Zotz and we have at Ford. I mean, Ford Field is basically full all the time, and then we'd have that at Roberts and Triangle Park, and then the residents can't park to shop there. So,
Well,
it would
let's leave
take
it
a
on the
while.
table as
Yeah.
we have sort of like even with Alpine, maybe we should be talking about where we should build more parking, like we are here. I mean, or maybe down at Ford Field, maybe we need to look at where we could build more parking. I don't know, but I actually feel like this is a lot less of an issue because Ford Field, I don't know where you would park parking. Alpine, I don't know where you would. Here, we're right across from a big parking lot. We're literally across the street from a parking lot, right?
Which is
So
a,
a
which
big
is
one.
a business parking lot.
Sure, but
It's
it-
designed
it-
for retail and for their customers to use it.
but there's
I-
parking. Have you seen how much parking there is there? It goes all the way through the back. Have you gone behind
the-
Roberts? Have you
Yeah,
gone
my
behind
understand-
Okay,
My
can I-
understanding is
Can I
hardware
call-
store?
Can I
Yeah,
call a
we're getting-
timeout?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, parking is not, even though Parks is in our name, parking is not part of Parks and Rec. So John, I think you've got a great insight. I would encourage you to get engaged when it comes
Yep.
to the town council. This
Yep.
did come up at the meeting the other night, and Hawk basically said, it's a retail parking lot. We are not encouraged to
Retail
use
parking
it.
lot.
So anyway,
Okay.
okay, that's
Retail
it.
parking lot. Interesting.
Alex.
First time I've heard that phrase, a retail parking lot.
Well, that's
go
what
on.
it is. It's a retail parking.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we're moving on. We're moving on, unless it's Parks and Rec. Okay.
It's gonna come back again because this has to do with my my idea for the dog park. But go on.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. Okay.
Next one is town court outstanding topics. I don't have anything except I'm trying to get in touch with Howard before he leaves to find out how we keep the painting and restriping of court number 3 alive, while he's gone. So stay tuned. He's a pretty busy guy these days.
Can you say the issue again? What's the issue with the striping? Oh, it's just to totally redo it, right? So that it
Yeah,
doesn't
just
have
to get it.
the 4 square or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
He was he's very supportive of it. He said he was waiting for the rain to stop. The rain has stopped, knock on wood. And so now I want to see about getting it scheduled.
Yeah. Can I use this opportunity, even though there's probably you're talking about something else, but I have now, because I go down there a lot now, or I do anyway, but and every time I'm down there are people playing basketball. There's much more basketball being played these days than we've ever had. I don't know what changed. I think it's just people got organized. But every single time I'm down there and I see these guys, I ask them about the full court and the tennis and all of that. And I can tell you, every single time they say the tennis net is not an issue. They can't play full court because it's too long anyway, and they don't want to. They don't. So all I can tell you is it must be 10, 15 times I have asked people down there about that net, right? And just what they want in the basketball court. And this is like times like 10 people each time. So I must have asked 200 people about that. And all I can tell you is they're not interested in full court. I know you're on something else, but I just wanted to throw it out there because I keep
No.
asking every time I'm
No.
there.
Actually,
Yeah.
that is a town court topic, so
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Good, I'm glad. Hopefully
Yep.
that won't come back again. Okay, now we're on the dog park.
Okay, so here's my idea. Oh, sorry,
Wait,
go ahead.
Let
Can I tell you
Karen,
my idea?
let Karen
Oh.
do her update.
Go ahead,
first.
go ahead, Karen.
Okay, thank you, John. So at the last meeting, the first thing that we learned, we discussed getting a survey out. So we did go over the survey in the meeting, and we changed things, while we were there. And then I sent the survey out to our Parks and Rec committee. Patty had filled it out, and Cindy filled it out and had comments, but for some reason her comments never made, I mean, her submittal never made it into there, but I had my son tested and it worked, so I'm not quite sure. We're gonna have to figure out what happened there. And I'm happy to share it again. She had one comment was she said, well, I'm not a dog owner, so question 5 doesn't work for me. So I'll just share my screen really quickly once again. Oops, that's on the, hang on, I have to go to the questions. So John, I don't know if you were probably out of town. I don't know if you recalled seeing it, but I would love for you to review it and fill it out.
Okay.
But she said that this one, this did say, please check the reasons why you would support an off-leash dog area. And she said, I don't own a dog, so I don't think I should fill this out. But I think we want to get comments. I think there are non-dog owners that would like a dog park, and maybe there's some that don't want, you know, it off leash, and we need to have it, that we need to make sure that we are talking about to understand whether or not you own the dog and do you support this, so that we get that data. So that was the one change I've made since you've last seen it. And I don't know if anyone has any other comments, and we can talk about the timing of it. Obviously, John, we want to hear your idea.
The
And
only
then if
other
we,
comment, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
The only other comment I keep thinking about is back up to the things that you would want in a dog park. And I get hung up on that natural turf because I just don't think that's something we're going to be able to provide. You know, given the options.
Until you hear my idea, can I just throw it out there?
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
that's a good segue.
Say, you know, all these things, but okay, here's the deal. There's an area in in the town that is a huge area that is grass, open. The dogs will love it. It is totally fenced in, and it is not used for anything else right now, hardly. If you can believe that. It's Rosati's field. The kids have pulled out, right? They can't play there. I tell you, I was going by when they tried once, and there was cars that were backed up, about 20 to 30 cars long on Alpine Road down the hill. There was about 20 cars pointed out towards Arrastradero, and they already can't even get, even the people that are trying to get to Alpine Inn can't get in. And you now put in 40 more cars, 50 more cars trying to even just drop off the kids. They can't do it. The youth soccer has abandoned it. They've figured out they can only play one day, and that's Monday, because Alpine Inn is closed. Okay. The only adult soccer on it is on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock, right? It doesn't open until like 11. So, and I've talked to, and by the way, it is totally fenced in, right? If you picture Rosati's field, and there's going to be issues, and let's knock out the issues. But anyway, it is a totally enclosed, like you would actually require for a dog park, and it's a grass field that the dogs will love, right? So it's perfect, as long as we accept a bunch of things. So let's get into all the issues now. One is the youth soccer really given up on it? I think we need to engage in that discussion, because I'm telling you, I think they have. I think they can't play there anymore. It's just done.
Why would we accept that as
Well,
an outcome?
We don't have to, because let's get into now what it means to be a dog park and what we would require. Okay, so let's just assume for the moment that they haven't, that they're not going to use it or not using it. So now what do we do in the meantime? But again, it's already contained, it's already, so all we would need to do is change the policy that says the dogs can't go on the field, okay? So that would be something we'd have to go through the town, we say, maybe it's just, remember we talked about Ford Field, because that's also enclosed. And we talked about maybe just using it, and Little League, of course, didn't appreciate that. Well, I don't think the Alpine, we can talk about the getting through, the discussions with the soccer people, but I'll tell you, they are not using it. So anyway, so we just take away the policy that says dogs can't, maybe we set up something that says that there's times when they can, and it could be just those times when Alpine Inn is not needing it, or needing the parking. Because I talked to some people, like, they actually there's a big crowd that goes down to the town center at 9 a.m. So that is before Alpine Inn is open. So why don't, and I said, so how do you get to the town center? Yeah, they're like mostly driving there. So, well, can you just drive to Rosati's instead? They're like, sure. I mean, that'd be good. And not to say they all would, because they all like the town center. But anyway, the Rosati's soccer field is unused. It's got huge parking that is unused for certain hours anyway. So now the biggest issue, well, one big issue is you now have dogs on a soccer field. By the way, you already have dogs on a field, because our dog parks right now is the town center softball field and soccer field. So the issue around the fact that we have dogs on our fields and you have to pick up after them isn't really any different, right? So it would be great though if we could get a group, not a committee, but just say assign people that they're the ones that need to clean up. So we're not just putting this burden on whoever the users of the field are, right? But anyway, so there's this whole issue around, really opening it up where you really allow dogs on. But again, there's 50, 60 dogs in the town center on a daily basis. I don't know, okay, 30. There's some large number that are down there. And and those are fields that are currently being used in a big way by a Little League, by the adult softball, the youth soccer, the adult soccer. So that's already the dog park. All we're trying to do is move them down to an area that is currently unused. It's not unused for a good reason, it's unused for a bad reason, but it's definitely they've been bumped. And again, it's even better than the town center because it's totally enclosed. Because I don't know if you can picture Rosati's, right? But it is 100% enclosed, like the definition of that we thought was the law in California. There's a fence around the entire thing. Again, will people go down there? Well, that will be, this is change management. We'd have to work through that. And again, they can't really, it can't be, it's not going to be good from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 o'clock in the evening. But we'd have a place, if we could get the town to agree to a policy that says it's okay to put dogs off leash there from these hours, these days and these hours, that would be a massive step forward. Anyway, that's my idea. We can get into all the issues with it.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. I have a couple questions. One is I thought there were specific deed restrictions on that field. So that obviously we'd have to check into that. The policy is not an issue. The council can sign an ordinance for that. So that's certainly something that could be done. We've talked about that we would pilot, so we would try something before it became official. But the two challenges that I see is if with the lack of parking that would happen on the weekend after 11 a.m. And quite honestly, John, that lot is packed even at lunch. So it's not just 4 to 7. It's basically after 11 a.m., right?
Okay.
We have a group of dog owners that wouldn't serve. And so if we offer this, would we be able to change behavior? It's a question, right? That's what I mean, but I think it's an interesting idea. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. It's just, it's a huge jump forward from where we are, which is to say, we do have a very good usable, I don't like the term dog park because that has other visuals associated with it, but we have this huge area that you can, go to that's ideal for them for certain hours.
Yeah.
In fact, and actually we could even expand those hours, because then they just have to figure out how to park. And because the other thing is, when soccer goes down there, you have 40 to 50 cars, right? When dog owners go down there, you have like 5, right? I mean, we're not
Or-
talking about
no.
50 cars showing up to go to the dog park.
But I mean, I've seen 15, when they meet on these gatherings, there can be 15 to 20 people there. At times, there can be a lot. Certainly not every day.
Sure.
So,
And they can figure that out, or they can not go. I mean, understood.
Yeah,
And I still think it's different than a soccer game where you've scheduled a game and now you're expecting 50 cars to show up,
right.
Between players, coaches, referees. You're just saying you have to be here. I've seen
Yeah.
it. The backup, it's just totally non-functional. This is the why they've given up. They really have to give up, frankly. And we can deal with that separately. The issue about the fact that youth soccer has to have given up on one of the nicest fields in all of the Bay Area, but that's the reality. And you should just watch it sometime when they try to schedule a game in the middle of when Alpine Inn is in business. It's already crazy when they're not in business. Throw a soccer game in the middle of that. It was disaster. Anyway,
Not disagreeing with that. I mean, there's a problem.
Right. So it's trying to take advantage of that problem, though, is converting the problem into an opportunity. Is one way to think about it.
Yeah. But it really would only be up until on Mondays and 11 a.m.
Well, it's
up to
every
11
day.
a.m.
It's every day up to 11, right? Because they're never open before 11. Right?
Yes, but except for Sunday mornings, I guess you just relocate the adult people that play there.
No, we should say not Sunday mornings. Just
Okay. Well,
so that's
okay.
one day. That's one
So,
day.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is Springdown could be open all the time. So I still don't think we should give up on that idea. So
For sure, though, the issue with Springdown is it's natural grass. So I haven't figured out quite yet how it works, because there's trails to areas with very tall natural grass. Right. So I'm not sure who really would take their dog there, as opposed to this beautiful big field, natural grass field that they'll just run, like they want to run. And again, I'm not. That was the thought of the Springdown was the place, especially because it's at the town center. So I'm just throwing this other idea that just is taking advantage of something that's happened in the last few years, but it's so massive, this change at Alpine Inn. It has made that field unused. That's all.
some people have
Unfortunately.
suggested that we should put housing there because it
Yeah, I
certainly
know.
isn't a soccer, right? I mean, that would be a great place for housing.
That'll need parking too.
Well, it could be done. So,
No, let's not add more parking. All right. Anyway, that was my idea
Anyway,
of the day.
I, uh, I know Caroline has her hand up and then we can get back to the survey, but Patty, do you have anything?
I like the idea that we're thinking creatively, so I appreciate that. I do not like the idea that we're giving up, basically, and that we're turning, to use a euphemism, over to the dogs. Because I think our kids deserve better. And I think Alpine has a responsibility to respect the fact that they don't own that parking lot. And that just because they're successful doesn't mean that our kids can't play soccer. I think that's a travesty. So I wouldn't say I'm opposed to it, but I think it's giving up. And I would hate to do that. So that's my thought. Carolyn, do you have a comment?
Great. Thank you for your comments, Patty. We should not give up. Our kids have several problems. I have been trying to advocate for the drug use that is occurring in our elementary and middle school. And if you can prevent this by encouraging young people to be involved in sports, that is a great solution. So yes, John, I thank you for thinking out of the box, but it's out. And it's very sad because people have, adults and youth leagues are not playing there because of the parking problem. And it should be resolved because at least 30 spots belong to Portola Valley.
Carolyn, we lost you. Carolyn?
Use our rules, who disregard, they don't work again. We do have, and so you could use that if you really feel that these people are responsible. Unfortunately, they're not responsible. And they will just, you know, they will take advantage of the opportunity. I think it works out. I know the groups. I have a dog. We don't participate in those groups, but talking to these people, they have no issues going to the public schools, use their area, go to town center. And from what I hear from them, it works out. So leave that, but don't invite other people because we have already issues. You brought up, you know, recreational parks that we open. We have a huge issue with the people with Windy Hills. We're trying to resolve the issues for the residents on Willowbrook. Now we're trying to resolve the issues on Golden Oak. It's only getting worse. So I know the people of Alpine Inn, they're very cooperative. We need to work this out because right now you're just expelling the sports and that's not a solution. The youth sports are not coming. So, and I hope we will encourage that. It's a huge advantage for our young people and we need to encourage that. So thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Can I just make two quick comments, or at least one for sure? One of
Sure.
which is the kids aren't using the field in the mornings. Okay, so at a minimum until 11 a.m. in the morning, nobody's using the field. So we're not actually bumping anybody. We're not saying that the issue is with the Alpine Inn. It's available. It's just open. That's one point. Secondly, I know that a lot of people are going to say that, well, but they use town center and so it's working, or soccer field in town center. The issue with it in the town center is that it is illegal. right? That's the conflict that we've had all along. That it is a don't ask, don't tell. It's a totally look the other way issue. There's a policy, there are signs out there that say no dogs on the field. And yet there are dogs in large numbers on those fields. So if we want to just say, no, it's fine in the town center, then let's take down the signs that say no dogs or no dogs off leash. Because it's, again, they are, it's just, there's a policy and we are just looking the other way. So that's the whole other side. But again, the opportunity, and so this, you don't even worry about the fact that what's happening with Alpine Inn and all the parking. The fields are simply not used until 11 a.m. in the morning, every morning, except for Sundays. So it's just an opportunity. We discussed this with Ford Field, and again, Little League would object, but I just think that nobody's going to object, especially if we can get a group of people out there making sure that they are cleaning up, after any use of dogs down there. Anyway, that's just my comment on. I appreciate, and I can tell you, I'm a stronger advocate for soccer, for youth soccer, adult soccer than anybody in the town. So I'm not doing this because, well, don't worry about the soccer. I'm just trying to take advantage of an opportunity to get something that we've been working on for a very long time to at least have some partial solution, which is mornings. There's an awesome place for dogs. Anyway,
Yeah, I think that's a very
I
valid
will.
point. I agree. I do think it would be more difficult to get people used to one solution in the morning and then a different solution in the afternoon. And, oh, but I can't go there Sunday mornings. It would just be so ideal if we could find a place that solves
sure.
for all the problems, which is one of the reasons we were looking at Springdale.
Understood, but let's not look for perfection. We've been looking for a solution to this for 20 years.
Springdown is not perfection. A lot
Far
of people
from it.
will
Right.
complain that it's not. It's not
Yep.
grass. So, and we don't even know if we have a legal right to put dogs on the property at Springdown.
Mhm.
So, I think it's great. I think we should
Anyway, it's a thought.
continue to brainstorm. I think, yeah, I just think it needs to be something we continue to look at, because I agree with you 100%. Town center is not a solution. Not a solution.
Right.
I have a question, and it's related to the parking situation at Zots, because it's come up and I don't see it on the agenda. Have we ever discussed putting up a chain link fence in that lot to designate the parking for Rosati's Field? So
Well,
at
not a
least,
chain link, but they used to have like a rope thing that they would put up. And then they would, let me finish. And then they would put like an attendant there to sit and say, are you with the soccer? Yeah, you park there. The problem is people don't pay any attention. You got some kid who's trying to police some guy in a Suburban that is bound and determined to get his beer and fries. And so the direct answer to your question is no. To my knowledge, we've never tried permanent structure. We've tried a semi-permanent structure.
I wonder, even taking that softball net fencing that we have, we put up, even having something that is more permanent and very visible and has a sign because we certainly, the town has every right to reserve those spaces there, and we haven't tried anything like that. We keep asking Zots to do it, but they don't even have a guy out there anymore. Let's face it, there's no
No,
rope,
'cause-
there's nothing.
No, because they
So maybe, I mean, maybe we look at
But how do
something
you-
like that.
how do you pay for that? How do you police that? The
You
sheriff,
know,
the sheriff won't do it.
I think having more of a visible barrier and having signage, and something where it could open and shut. It still may not keep people out completely, I agree, but it's, again, just trying to sort of move things forward in some
Yeah,
way.
I know. That's where I think we need to keep the conversation open with Rosati's. But yeah, I don't know what the options are. I mean, we talked about having a separate entrance, which would be okay for evacuation purposes, and then building a more permanent barrier. I just don't know if people are gonna pay attention. I mean, they park on Arrastradero, which is the most dangerous thing in the world.
There's even a big sign that says, "Don't park on Arrastradero," and there are 50 cars parked on Arrastradero. Literally, there's a big sign. Have you seen it? It says, "Don't park on Arrastradero,"
I know it.
and then look at Arrastradero.
I
Nobody.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I drove through there the other day. People trying to get out, people trying to get in. Got the Alpine intersection, got people parked, got people walking. You got bikes.
Yep.
I mean, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Yep.
But, Karen, to your point, again, I mean, I would like to keep the conversation open with Zots and just say, how are we going to solve this problem? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think the town, that's why I'm saying I think the town is gonna have to put the fencing in, and I don't think that the temporary, I don't know. I'd have to research it, but that bright orange temporary fencing can't be that expensive to string across there. And again, try it, pilot it and see if it's gonna keep people out. But I think the town's gonna have to be more proactive. I think we can ask Zots all we want, but they can't control it until there's some barrier there. I mean,
They're not even going to try. Right? I mean, it's not really their issue in their minds until we tell them they can't have darkness spots.
Well, I
You know,
think
we've done the
tried-
opposite. The town has rented it out to them.
I think we potentially have to make it financially painful for them.
Yes, that's the
I
only
mean,
thing
they're
that will
paying
motivate them.
$100 a day to use Sportfield. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, nothing.
nothing.
$100.
It's nothing.
That's one. Yeah, it's
If
nothing.
we made it $1,000 a day, or we fine them $1,000 a day if they didn't reserve 30 spots, maybe we'd get somewhere. But okay, anyway, I'm gonna close this. We got to move on.
Yeah.
Karen,
Well-
what? No, I'm only
Yeah.
closing. I'm not closing dog park. I want to come back to you and talk about what do you want to do next step survey.
well, ideally, folks on our committee would have, like John, I would love for you to review it and I can send it to you again, just to test it. And then I'm happy to, we have to decide on a deadline for the survey. We obviously have to collect them by a certain date, so a deadline, and then I'm happy to just coordinate getting it out on the forum and working with the town to get it up on our Parks and Rec site and in the town channels of communication. So it really is about making sure we're comfortable with the survey and the timing of it. And then we can figure out what the demand is, and we can leave that natural turf there to kind of see what people say. And again, I don't think we can be all things to all people.
Yeah, I
So-
agree with that. I don't know. I still have not heard back from Sharif, so I will ping him again.
I have not sent the survey. Should I send the,
No, I don't think we need him to approve the content. I just want to make sure he is supportive of us sending it out in the first place.
okay,
So I'll ping him again. He's been pretty busy guy. But, okay, so
okay.
you're gonna send out again, ask for feedback. I'll ping
Uh,
Sharif and let's see if we can't get it out before the next meeting, maybe.
That would be great. Yeah. Okay,
Great, cool. And
thank
John,
you.
I don't mean to shut down your ideas.
Yeah, that's fine. Just
I
putting it out there, their ideas.
I know.
The bocce court didn't work out. I actually think we're gonna get there. I just have to go down there and do it myself.
You know, Sharif actually mentioned it the other day, you know, so I think we're getting visibility. We just
Okay,
need a
good.
spot. Just need a spot.
I think we can put it right there next to that, where the horseshoe thing is. There is a spot. We just have to agree to do it there. Because if there's a
Well-
picnic table, it's right there. It's open. It's not
Howard
interfering with
said-
anything.
Well, you heard what Howard said, right? He
I
said
know. He's,
it had to be graded, and he said there's a real gopher problem.
that's because he has this image of a full-on bocce court. And we just, I'm not actually, I don't think we need a bocce court. I think we just need a place where you can throw bocce balls.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll keep working on
Alright.
that.
Okay, all right, study session is on my list to talk to Sharif about. Maybe recreational. And, the Ford Field bathroom. Karen and I did meet with John Golden, who's the chair of the planning commission. We met primarily to talk to him about some of the Hawthorne's parking options. And trying to get that in front of the planning commission, because we thought there might be some issues. And in that conversation, I did ask him about the Ford Field bathrooms, specifically that Howard had said, look, by the time you add in the open space corridor setback, and then you add in the creek setback, there's no room to put a bathroom. Absolutely no room. So he said, you need to go to the planning commission and just figure out what solve that problem. And John's comment was, you know what? That's town-owned property. We can do anything we want on town-owned property. So he said, I would not let that stop you from thinking about moving ahead with a bathroom at Ford Field. So this was going to be another item on my list to talk to Howard about before he left, which is, could we potentially use the California state grant money to fund like an engineering study that would allow us to take a look at what it would take to put a bathroom in that area. So for instance, is there septic already up and down Alpine? If so, it wouldn't be a problem, I wouldn't think, to hook into it. If there's not septic, obviously if there's not sewer, got it backwards. If there's not sewer, then we've got a bigger problem. What would the bathroom look like? Blah, blah, blah. So I want to see if we can keep that moving forward. My concern is probably that it's going to need planning resources from the town, which we don't have. And everything is on the back burner, I think, until we get planning resources in the town. So I'll try and keep that moving forward. But that's all I've got there. Okay, is there anything else anybody's got?
Can't think of anything. Thank you for all your work, Patty. Congratulations on your award and all of that, because I know that was maybe a
No, not the
meeting or two
award.
ago.
But not the award, I could care less. The Firewives, got Westridge Firewives. It's very exciting. Okay, motion to adjourn,
Second,
asked.
Third. All in
Thanks,
favor?
everybody.
all right, thank you, Patty. Thanks,
Thank
John.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Bye.